Now playing California Triathlon Soup.
Okay, welcome to another episode of California Triathlon Soup. Today's guest is Katherine Kelly Lang, who is an Emmy award-winning actress, the lead of Bold and the Beautiful, a triathlete, a business person, and somebody who's just pretty amazing to know. So, Kelly, welcome to California Triathlon Soup.
Thank you. Thank you. This is an honor, honestly. It's an honor, and I'm so happy to be doing it. But I have to say, because it bothers me, I got my Emmy producing a show. So that's my Emmy, and I'm very proud of it.
But you've been nominated.
I've been nominated for Daytime. Oh, that's Dom in the background already jumping in less than a minute into the
Dom Zoida, who is her significant other, and also a very good triathlete. You don't want to follow him on a bicycle.
Categories like
so you produced.
So
tell us. That's a great way to start. So tell us about the Emmy production.
Emmy, yeah. So
Kelly, tell us about that.
Which one?
Your Emmy for producing. What was that on?
Oh, it's a web series called Venice, and it's in the 5th year. So I worked with Crystal Chappelle, who created the show, and went on and helped her with whatever she needed. So with the producing and everything. So that was it was an experience, and I got to learn a lot behind the camera, which was really exciting for me. And now I'm actually working on producing a film. So it's fun to kind of venture out and do things that are different than what I'm used to.
Well, one of your first roles was with Bold and the Beautiful, the lead of Bold and the Beautiful, and I had looked it up because it's been around for so long. You've been there since 1987, 31 years. When you started that, did you think you'd be there for 31 years?
No, gosh, no. I signed a contract for 4 years in the beginning, and I was on since day one. And I thought, how am I going to get through 4 years? Because I had other dreams and aspirations, and I really wanted to do movies and nighttime television and things like that. But it was great to have a regular job and be able to act and do what I love to do every single day. So I took the job, and 4 years came out and went, and then I just kept re-signing my contracts. And then when I was having kids, it was easy to work while I was pregnant, and also to come right back after I had the kids and bring them into the dressing room. And then my first son even played my son on the show for the first 4 years of his life. So it all worked out very well, and I'm still there 31 years later. I mean, it's crazy. I'm so blessed, and really, I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and it's opened up so many things for other job opportunities and businesses that we've gotten involved with, especially lately.
And your character is named Brooke Logan. Is that right?
Yeah, Brooke Logan Forrester. She's married Forrester about 10, 11 times. So she's married the father, and she's married the brother, and has kids with the father, and yeah, it's a crazy soap opera.
Yeah, I looked at that, and it appears you've had 7 husbands and 11 weddings. And
don't tell anybody.
And in particular, it was amazing how they name these spouses. The names like Ridge, Thorn, Grant, and I think my favorite, Whip.
Yeah, Whip. Yeah, it's very interesting. Mm-hmm.
So those are awesome.
Babbling Brook. So yes.
So a little bit about your background. There are so many interesting things about your background, which we'd love to get to. You're no stranger. Your family's no stranger to the Olympics, correct?
Correct. My dad was in the Olympics for the ski jump. I'm trying to remember the year.
52.
52. Yeah, so 1952.
Oslo.
He was in Oslo, and he was just a very brave man. That's back when they had lace-up ski boots and wooden skis, and they're just flying through the air like crazy people. But all the kids learned how to ski from him, and grew up with a very athletic family, and always did all kinds of sports and things like that. And we're very competitive. My mom was in
So
the junior
you
Olympics
get
for
you
swimming
get your
as
talent
well.
pretty naturally. And your dad was also did I read that he had a role as the Jolly Green Giant?
He was the Jolly Green Giant, and he was the only one. When he passed away, they turned it into a cartoon. But he was the man that would go to work, and they would paint him green, and they'd put on the little leaves around his Speedo, and he would stand there and flex his muscles and say,
That
"Ho, ho, ho, Green Giant." And that was him. Yeah, back in the 60s, 70s.
But they took his body and made the
60s.
cartoon.
that is fantastic.
They
Well,
mimicked him.
so if we could, so a little bit about triathlon. When did you get into the crazy sport of triathlon? How did you get in? And maybe that's a great start to talk about that.
Well, I got in because David Gregg asked. David Gregg is our international publicist for The Bold and the Beautiful, and he asked the actors on the show if they wanted to be on the Bold and Beautiful team for the Malibu Triathlon, and that was in 2013, I believe. So there's some of us who jumped in, some producers, some directors, some actors. And of course I said yes. I thought it would be so much fun. And I wasn't doing triathlon at the time, but we had group training sessions, and I was working for CBS because Bold and Beautiful is a CBS TV show. And Dom was working, who is my honey, if nobody knows, Dominic here. He was working for CBS at the time too. And they asked him to train our CBS group because he was already an Ironman. He's been doing triathlons forever. So I met him that way. It was a very funny story. You want to tell him? Okay, so we met, and actually I will tell you. During one of the training sessions, I wanted to win this race, this Malibu Triathlon coming up. So I thought to myself, I really need a private trainer. It's the only way I'm going to get fast enough. So during one of the training sessions, I blurted out, "Hey, do you train privately?" And everybody turned and looked at me, and it was so embarrassing. It was just so embarrassing. But he said yes, and then we started training together and quickly became romantic, and it kind of all went from there. But that's how I got into triathlon. And I started with the Malibu Triathlon, and I came in third in that group. And then so I thought I could do this, and then I quickly trained up for a half Ironman with Dominic's help, and did Oceanside half Ironman for my first Ironman 6 months later.
Well,
and then it just went from there.
Dubai was before.
Oh, Dubai came before, yeah. The Dubai triathlon. Oh, there's so many things.
And I think an interesting story is you came to an event the California Triathlon had at the Rose Bowl, I do believe, and you brought your bike, and I think you met Lesley Paterson at that event.
I did. She is one tough chickie.
And
yeah,
we've already interviewed her this season. Was Lesley particularly impressed by your choice of bicycle?
Okay, this was funny because she had us, she was training us and telling us what to do. And I think she said, we do a lap on the bike, and then we come and leave the bike and put on our running shoes and do the lap around the Rose Bowl in our shoes, of course. So I didn't know that we just leave the bike there. I said to her, is it okay to just leave my bike here like this? What if somebody takes it? And she looked at my bike and she said, "Oh, nobody's going to want your bike." I can't remember the exact words, but it wasn't really, That wasn't really nice.
I'm sure there were some words that, can't probably only Lesley can say that were used. I'm absolutely positive.
And I was very fond of that bike. That was my very first bike that started me into triathlon. So, but now it's long gone. I've moved on.
And you're doing a lot of relative to biking. You're involved with a really great cause, and you've been involved with that cause for a long time.
Well, with Breakaway from Cancer, I got involved with that because I always wanted to give back. It's so important that, when you have so many wonderful things in your life, you've got to help other people. So, and I've also had some of my family members pass away from cancer. And so I thought it was important to become involved with a cancer charity. So I'm an ambassador for Breakaway from Cancer. And it's such an important cause because my father passed away from colon cancer, and his mother and his father both passed away from colon cancer as well, my grandma and grandpa. So it kind of runs in the family, but nobody's had a problem since, knock on wood. But I just think it's important because cancer is running rampant. I mean, it's all over the place, and everybody knows a family member, a friend, a relative that is suffering from cancer or possibly dying from cancer, and we all need to reach out and help in some way. So Breakaway from Cancer does that, and they have 4 nonprofit organizations within their charity, and it's Prevent Cancer Foundation, Cancer Support Community, Patient Advocacy Foundation, and National Coalition of Cancer Survivorship. It's all hard to say, it's a mouthful, but it takes you from prevention to cancer support to helping you with your finances, financial assistance, and then of course survivorship. They walk you through, the whole process. So I love to get the word out there and let people know that this organization is there to help them, because nobody should have to fight cancer alone.
That's lovely. What now do they do events? They do events, and you can raise money and join those cycling events.
Yeah, the Amgen Tour of California, we do a Breakaway from Cancer mile walk every time with a cancer survivor or cancer survivors and their families. And we do that every year, and we have a big presence at the Amgen Tour of California and have tents and information and just out there supporting the cancer survivors.
Got it. And so in terms of you had started you had started on short course, and I've been fortunate enough to be on the San Gabriel River Trail with you and riding some pretty long miles. You eventually went into 70.3 distance and then 140.6. How did that progress? And I think what some of the folks that are on that are going to listen, at least the 4 or 5 people that listen to this, maybe 6, who knows? They're going to wonder, how do you balance that? I mean, you travel quite a bit. If you look at your social media, you're always traveling. You have a full producer, actress, schedule. You have a full life. How did you fit all that work in?
Well, this is a loaded question. Okay, so first of all, I have great memories of doing those rides with you with CalTri and the training groups and everything, and it really kind of got me going and spending time on the bike. And I love that, especially the ride going from Los Angeles down to Encinitas. That was so much fun, and having beer and pizza at the end and taking the train back. But I loved all those group sessions with CalTri. It was amazing. And then that got me into doing the Grand Fondos, and then I did the triathlon, which is kind of a strange distance in Abu Dhabi, which was kind of what was it? It's like a half-mile swim, and it was like a 50-mile bike ride, and then a 10-mile run. So that was that got me into doing the longer distances. And then I did, after that, the Oceanside was my first half Ironman, and gosh, I can't remember them all. I did the World Championship in Austria at Lake Zell, the 70.3. I've done Italy like a couple times, 70.3. I've done Vineman. Florida. I need help remembering all this. Florida. What else?
And you've made your way all the way to Kona, correct?
And then of course Kona. And Kona was 2 years ago. So and Dave Scott trained me up for that one. And I didn't know how I would do. I just really wanted to finish. So I was as prepared as I could be. And I just thought, let me go out there and have a good time. And that's what I did. And I loved it.
Dave rode with you.
I loved it. Yeah, Dave came out and cheered me on, and it was fun. It was quite an experience.
So you've had coaching by, Dominic, and you've had coaching from Dave. And which one would you say was better at that? Your boyfriend, significant other, or Dave Scott?
Well, first of all, it's so much fun to train and be trained by your boyfriend, let me tell you. So that I have to say, Dominic's just the best. But Dave was incredible. I really, he just kind of kept me positive and kept me going and just really got me through to be able to do Kona. I was just surprised that I could do that. And then, and now I'm working with Siri. And so I've had some good people working with me.
Siri Lindley, right?
Yes, Siri Lindley. Yeah.
Wow, that's another great coach. So where do you take this? Where do you think you're going to take triathlon in the next 2, 3, 5 years, or have you even thought about it?
I just kind of go along. Last year I did the World Championship in Tennessee. And that was my last race. So that was September. Now I'm just training up to kind of get ready for some Grand Fondos and Sweden. I believe we're doing the 70.3 in Sweden in July. And then, of course, the World Championship in South Africa in September. So that's kind of my plan for this year. And I don't know. We'll just see. I like staying in shape. I love to swim, bike, and run. And it feels good. I like to set goals and give myself challenges and accomplish them.
Now, do you have any major dietary constraints that you have to use? When we talked to the other day, I had a chance to talk to Lesley Paterson, and she pulls all the gluten out of her diet, and she has for many years. Do you have any dietary things that you have to be concerned about?
Well, I think that is the best thing to do because I haven't been feeling very good on gluten. So every time I eat that, I feel bloated and more inflamed and everything hurts more. And then when I don't eat it, I feel great because Dave Scott put me on the ketogenic diet like a year ago. I think about a year ago. And I stayed on it for 4 months. It's kind of hard to follow because you really can't eat sugar at all. So I stayed on it for 4 months. I felt great, but I'm going back to doing that because it made me feel so good. And you just feel, I don't know, nothing bothers you. Because think gluten, that just turns into sugar in your body. And sugar is the worst thing for you to eat. And it can cause cancer and all that stuff. It just causes inflammation in your body. And you can't have that. I mean, your body doesn't work well that way. So that's one of the things you got to get rid of.
That would be hard. Sugar, boy, that's one of my weak spots. A question for you. I was told by a little bird that you had a pretty cool first vehicle, your very first car ever. Like we're going way back in the Wayback Machine. Do you remember that first car?
I had a Fiat actually.
Was it a Volkswagen Bug maybe?
Yeah, the Bug was maybe my second. I had a little Fiat first and it broke down, I think in 6 months. And then I had a Bug I think it cost me $900. And I bought it from the guy on Taxi, Judd Hirsch.
Yeah, isn't that a little funny that you buy a car from somebody on Taxi, right? Like that's pretty awesome.
I never thought of that, but it was pretty funny. It was like I bought this broken down Volkswagen from Judd Hirsch, who was on Taxi. Yes, it was very funny.
Well, there was a theme, when I found out about the Lesley picking on your bike, and then you get a car from Judd Hirsch, and then it kind of crescendoed in what I think was a breakout film for you, again involving a form of transportation, Skatetown, USA.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that was my first movie. That was right out of high school. and I got my first movie, and I was so excited, but I was also so nervous. And I was very shy. I was a very shy teenager and shy girl, even at a very young age. So it was hard for me I was very excited about it and wanted to do it, but it was hard for me to really open up and let go and just have a lot of confidence in myself. So I remember I had a lot more scenes that actually ended up on the screen because my voice came out like this. Hello, how are you today? I couldn't talk. I was so nervous. And so all my lines got cut. Not all of them. I mean, I still had lines there. But I ended up skating most of the time. And then, Patrick Swayze played my brother. And there was different actors in that movie. A lot of different 1980s actors.
Scott Baio, right?
Scott Baio was in there. And Maureen McCormick. But a lot of like the disco people and stuff like that, because it was disco skating, back then it was huge.
Well, Patrick Swayze is, when obviously Dirty Dancing, and you hear the line even today, somebody's like, don't put baby in the corner. And I will tell you that my wife, the place where they shot that is, I believe, in Virginia. And I think that they did their vacations there. So or they had done vacations there. So that was pretty funny. Like, she's actually a Patrick Swayze fan.
Oh.
Who knew?
Well, he's a nice guy and he was an amazing actor.
But my favorite, I think, actor that maybe the best actor actress ever is Betty White. Please tell me, you know Betty White. Is this true?
Yes, Betty White came on and played on The Bold and the Beautiful as Susan Flannery, who was Stephanie Forrester, the character, her mother. And so, and then also Allie Mills played Stephanie's sister, and Allie Mills was on Wonder Years many years ago. So, and she's still on The Bold and the Beautiful. So it was an interesting cast, and Betty was amazing. She has so much energy, even till this day, and she was off and on for a good storyline. I think maybe a year, maybe two, kind of coming back and forth, and she's just funny. She's a funny lady.
Did Betty did Betty play a good role, or was she wicked and evil?
No, she had a wicked past, but the storyline basically was that, and her character passed away on the show, but that the daughters and the mother, they all came together, and it was a happy ending, but a sad ending at the same time, that they all kind of forgave each other for what had happened in the past. And it wasn't a good past. I guess they grew up with, violence and things like that. So that was all dealt with in the storyline. And she was amazing. So her character had gone through some things, but in the end, it was all good.
Well, are there some other, you started out, you went to Beverly Hills High School.
Uh-huh.
And some of the names you've already said here today are remarkable in terms of who you know. My understanding is Robert Dinero a fan of Bold?
Yeah. Robert De Niro. I went to a party one time, and this was quite a while ago, and I met him. And I love Robert De Niro. He's my favorite actor. He has been ever since I can remember. And to meet him was just amazing. I was starstruck. I really was. I didn't know what to say to him. I think I just stood there staring at him with my mouth open, And his girlfriend at the time said, well, I didn't even meet him yet, but she came up to me and she said, oh, I love your show. Me and my boyfriend, we wake up every morning and we watch it. First of all, I thought that was strange because the show's on at 12:30 every day. So I thought, wow, they really sleep in. But then she brought him over, and I was just, I was stunned. I couldn't believe that they wake up. Robert De Niro wakes up and watches The Bold and the Beautiful every day. Loved it.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. It is Hollywood though, so like maybe these 6 a.m. swims that a swim, bike, and run that we do are antithetical to living in Los Angeles.
That's right.
Well, so on the business side of the house, you have been very busy. My understanding is that you're working on I see, all kinds of press releases in Italy, and you're working in Italy in the fashion area. And even in triathlon, you're getting into the space of producing apparel in the cycling and triathlon space. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, it goes way back to my mom having clothing stores ever since I was a little girl and growing up in the stores and even working in the stores. And she still has a store. So I always loved fashion. And of course, being in the entertainment world, fashion kind of goes along with all of that. And it's always been in my blood. I grew up with it, my mom. So at one point I thought maybe I should do something. I met my partner with my first business was caftans. Met her in Australia, and we decided to do caftans together. So that's been about 5 years. And Dom came in and said, let's do more with these caftans. And then he sold it to TVSN, to the Home Shopping Network in Australia. And that was a huge hit. I mean, our caftans sell out every time. So that's why we go to Australia so much, because I have to go on air and sell the caftans once we sell them to TVSN. And so we're there about 4 to 5 times a year. And then from there, we parlayed a lot of things we go to Italy a lot, and there's a lot of opportunities over there. So that's what's happening with our businesses now. We're now kind of co-branding with a bathing suit apparel line to do some resort wear with them. And that'll be in about a year. That'll be launching in 2019. I'm pairing up with a jewelry company doing co-branding with them. And that's also made in Italy. So everything that we're doing now is kind of made in Italy. The new the new cycling apparel and triathlon kits and running wear, that's all made in Italy. And we have wonderful partners that are Italian. So Dom and I and Alberto and Chiara came together and are forming this company, which is going to be launched in March, by the way. And we're signing on some pro triathletes. I'll give you a few names, but I'm not going to give you everything until we do our launch, because it's supposed to be a surprise.
Sure.
But Tyler Butterfield is one of them, and Jenny Fletcher is another. And Rudy Von Berg is another, but we'll wait to tell you the rest of them. But we're very excited about this. The fabrics are incredible. Everybody that puts these kits on and wears them, they just can't believe it, how comfortable they are, how they fit, what a great style they are. And we have more to come. I mean, there's so much more that's going to be made. We're working on the samples now, and we've all tried them out, and we're loving them. And we're ready to launch pretty soon. So it's really exciting. And of course, it's our passion. We love to do it. So it's just part of our lifestyle. So to have a business that correlates with that is amazing.
When you're on the Home Shopping Network, are you seeing the tote board, which shows how many units have been bought, and is that a rush and a thrill? I've been lucky to be part of selling stuff on QVC and HSN, and you see that tote board go up, and it's a rush for sure. You get done and it's exhausting.
Well, it is exhausting because you have to go on live and you have to sell. So pretty much you're trying to come up with different things to say on the spot about a certain piece of clothing or whatever it is you're selling, and you have to talk about the colors and the fit and the make and the manufacturer, and then also maybe what you're doing in your life and it's just you come up with things to talk about, but you find yourself repeating yourself a lot, which is also good for sales. You're kind of supposed to do that. But it's like a couple live hours a day, 2 to 3 live hours a day. And it gets fun. I mean, the more you do it, the easier it is. And it becomes, doable. At first, it was kind of scary. But it's fun to see that, the producers are saying, oh, it's selling out. Or down below, you see things go from green to blue to red or whatever, which at TVSN means it's sold out or it's limited, things like that. So it is very exciting.
And your new line for the cycling and triathlon gear, what's the name of that?
The name is Ride, RYD, and that is for Ride Your Dreams. So anybody who has dreams, you're riding your dreams, and whatever that may be, it doesn't matter.
It's a new company, but it has a lot of heritage in the cycling world. And Kelly can explain a little more about that.
Well, you can explain too. Now that you jumped in, come here.
So this Dom, don't be shy. I don't think you were shy when you met
I was
Kelly.
shy
So you
when
don't
I
need to be
met
shy
Kelly.
now.
If you saw me
I think we were both shy.
on our like first non-date, I mean, I was really shy, and I've always been shy. So I think I'm still shy even to this day. So
No.
But it has a bit. Actually, we have quite a history with the line, and not necessarily from just Kelly and I's point, but actually from the point of view of the Italians that are co-owners with us in this project and that are our partners. And the history is they come from the Pinarello family, and so as you know, last year they sold the Pinarello bike company, and and they wanted to start a new endeavor. And so, it's quite exciting, and we've known the Pinarello family for quite some time now, and they're fantastic friends. And it's so exciting to go into business because, in their blood is biking. That's, I talked to Chiara. She's the grandfather of the founder. And I just am like, you must have been like crazy because all her life, all she remembers is going to the Giro d'Italia, being around biking. And if you met her grandfather, he was the most interesting, most fantastic man you could ever meet. I'll never forget the first time we met him. And anytime you would get to meet him or talk to him, he doesn't necessarily shake your hand. What he does is he grabs your wrist and he looks for your pulse and he takes the pulse because he really wants to know if you're an athlete or not. And I think that's his decision, like if I'm going to talk to this person or not, of how good of an athlete they are. So yeah, I remember he grabs my arm, he starts taking my pulse, and he looks at me and goes, "Okay, you're good athlete."
What did he say though? He said something like,
yeah, he said like good athlete.
Oh, I thought there was something.
No,
I can't remember exactly.
So I thought
it
was amazing.
Oh no, good frame. That's what he said. Good frame.
So I know he's.
Well, and for the guy who built,
Exactly. It's
Pinarello,
all about the frame,
you know what a good frame looks like. So Ride Your Dreams. So is that, obviously it's new and it's exciting, and will it be targeted to both men and women? Will it be focused a little bit on women? I mean, my opinion of the garment market out there is there's a lot of room, there's a lot of competition, but there's a lot of room, and many of the designs are not. It's pretty commodity oriented out there. So what's the focus for you guys with Ride Your Dream?
It's going to be for men and for women. It's going to be for everybody. It's going to be for pro athletes. It's going to be for also just the weekend warrior. It's going to be for people who just love to cycle or people who are maybe competing in triathlon, whether that be sprint or they're just out there doing it for fun. And it's just basically training apparel, it's.
We're focused on men and women. I mean, women are
well, definitely women.
Yeah,
of course.
I mean,
definitely got to get the women in there.
No, we're focused on every, for anyone that wants our kits. But our main focus is customer service and customer care. We're really striving to do things differently. And I think, when I look at some of the biggest and best companies out there as far as like how they treat their customers and what you do when you walk in their stores or into their, for example, like Disney, when you walk into one of their theme parks, how everything is laid out, how they treat you, how they speak to you. And if you go, for example, Nordstrom, I mean, Nordstrom has one of the greatest, if not the greatest, return policies that exists. There is no return policy. Nordstrom does not have that. If you have something, there's stories of people bringing back stuff that they've owned for 10 years and they just were like, hey, this is not working for me anymore. And Nordstrom will actually take it back. I mean, that's how I believe Ride will be. We believe in our product, and if somebody has issues with it, I have no problem taking it back for for any reason. It doesn't matter to me because I want to earn your business. I want to earn your trust, and that's the way to do it. Customer service, customers are a priority, and we do that across the board with our pros as well. Our pros are a priority for us. If they do well, we do well, And that's important to us.
Well, in terms of I heard an announcement, I guess in March. Will that be, and then when will you be looking to roll out? When will we first start seeing the ride product
March,
out? You
definitely
think?
March. When we launch our website, that's when you'll be able to buy the product.
Fantastic. And you'll be able to buy. You'll be able to buy here, well, in the
Everywhere,
United States
anywhere in
and
the
even
world,
abroad.
wherever you live, and you want a ride product, you got it, no problem.
Well, that is fantastic. Of all the products out there that in that category, in that space, what are some, Kelly? What are some of the things that you have used before and said, "Boy, I really like this about a product," but and maybe there's some other stuff like, "Boy, I don't really like that." Like, I'll give you an example. Sometimes the bands on a kit will come up a little bit, or for instance, on a zipper, the inside. I mean, I know we're getting super technical here, but hey, there's only 8 people listening, so why not? The zipper on the inside is uncovered, and after a long ride, you see a little welt there at the top, near your belly button or up near
Yeah,
your
we can have.
sternum. What
Well,
are your
all of
thoughts about
that's
all
really
that?
important. It's always down to the smallest detail. You have to make sure that the kit fits right and it's not going to be rubbing your skin raw in places, or it's going to be falling apart too quickly, or you have to go through all of that. That's why everybody's trying this kits, riding in them. We're making some changes, and we're pretty much there for the final kits of what we're going to present. But it's important, and we may be changing even along the way. But we also have really good people working for us, and the manufacturers in Italy, and the fabrics are incredible. And anything usually made in Italy is really a great product. And I have to say, I have bought other products like even triathlon things made in Italy, and they're always good. But yeah, you definitely want to get some long wear out of your cycling and triathlon kits, and also have them be really super comfortable and not have anything hurting you or nagging at you.
And this is a public notice, I think, for everybody. If your riding partner has been wearing their shorts a little too long, and you just need to tell them that. Otherwise, you start getting a sheerness of the material that really
Oh, if
nobody
you wear
needs to
them too
deal with,
long
right?
in the bag? What?
Yeah, yeah. The different panels. My sometimes a good friend will come up and say,
Oh,
"Dude,
I
it's
see
it's
what you're saying. I
pretty
thought you meant long,
close to
like
me."
length. Oh, if you have them too long. I
No, no,
totally agree. I've ridden
it's
up behind people where you could pretty much see through their cycling jersey, and I mean, their cycling bottoms, and you don't want to do that.
No, no. Good friends just say, "Look,
Yeah.
it's time for you to put the order
So
in. Just put the order in." Well, I will tell you, it's very exciting to have you, you and Dom. We've known each other for a while. You mentioned Angels and Demons, and I think you're out of the country, but in March 17th from Anaheim to Solano Beach, we have 100
oh my
people signed
God.
up for that already, and
Oh,
unfortunately, you're out of town, but we'll have to do that again. I just wanted to say thank you so much. You of all the folks that would be on this podcast, I think this year you'll definitely be the one that gets the most attention because of all the people you touch, whether it's the charities you work with, from Breakaway from Cancer, whether it's the Amgen Tour, whether it's your work in being a producer or an
also, Women for
actress.
Try. I forgot to mention
And
Women for
you're,
Try.
you're,
I've been on, yeah, I've been on the advisory
oh
board
yeah,
from the very beginning with Women for Try, which is an offshoot of the Ironman Foundation, and trying to raise interest for women in triathlon and helping them get started, and raising money for collegiate scholarships, and raising money for women-specific tri groups and things like that. And we've raised up to maybe over 200,000, close to maybe 300,000 at this point. We have a Facebook page if anybody wants to check it out, Women for Tri Facebook page, and Why We Try Instagram. And there's a huge community there, which is really supportive and really helps women that are getting started or maybe have questions and need help. And there's there's so many things that are great about this. And a lot of the women, um, what am I trying to say? The women that have grown in the competition of the sport, actually, because it was about more like a 20%. Now it's getting close up to 30%. And especially in Australia, it's up to about 50% in some Ironman races, which is incredible. So hopefully we can make a difference too when eventually for the 50 women to Kona, because that's also a biggie.
Well, I want to get to that. We had Rocky, USATC CEO Rocky Harris on the podcast recently, and he had just announced the My Time to Try, which was a pledge to get 100,000 new people in the sport, and to try to align the very disparate groups of race directors, clubs, organizations, things like that. He seemed to be very passionate. He's been with USAT for about 5 months,
That's called Time
six
to
months,
Try.
and
That's happening now.
yeah, I
Yeah, I think
think
that's
My Time
happening
to
now.
Try,
So
right?
they're starting that now. Yeah.
Yeah, and so he went through a bunch of the details of that. So that's really exciting. And you do bring up a good point. We have California Triathlon is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we're 52% women on our team and 75%
Wow, that's
women on the
amazing.
leadership group. Yeah, they're fantastic. And so you had mentioned the 50 women to Kona. Is that so that there's equal number of men and women who get
I
slots
mean,
at Kona? Is
basically,
that is
the
that what you
women have been
were talking
fighting for
about?
this for a long time, and there's different groups that are really, really strong in that and been pushing for that. And it would be nice to see just having that equality, regardless of how many women pros there are out there. I mean, supposedly the argument is that there's not as many women pros as men pros. So when they figure out how many and they give the allotted slots to the women, that's what it comes out to. But it still would be nice to have the 50 slots open for the women, as the same as the men get. So
Well, there was recently there was a 40 person, I guess, raffle, 40 slots if I think you registered by a certain time frame. Maybe it was in January. If you registered for a long course, you'd be entered by Ironman into a raffle, and those were going as a raffle. So it's not my business. They're what, a $900 million business, but there certainly seems to be like there would be those spots available if they
right,
choose
you
to
would
direct them
think,
that way.
yes.
Well, I have to tell you, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you again so much. I look forward to seeing you on the next trip to
Yes.
Southern California. And I'm going to make sure we're going to send you for all your work, we're going to send you two 23-ounce California Triathlon Soup mugs, which honestly are, it's a
Oh, it's
collector's item
awesome.
already.
So I can have a huge cup of coffee in that.
Yeah, it's you can get coffee. If that's your cup of tea, you can have coffee.
Okay, I love it.
But thank you again so much for everything, and Dom again to you as well. And
All right,
we'll
thanks,
talk to you soon.
Tom. We'll see you soon.